What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Nolan, Noland, and as you can see, I'm kind of a nerd about shoes. So if you're looking for shoes for wide feet, barefoot shoes, minimalist shoes, or transition shoes in between those, stick around for the whole video. So I have a lot of options here. So they're kind of a few different categories. So there's boots. Let's start with boots. So these are the Altra Lone Peak hiker. These are kind of my daily casual shoe, basically. It fits more like it feels like a slipper more than it does a shoe. Like this cushion is, to me, seems extremely soft. And the way that it moves, like with the upper, like this, like looseness that it has, it just feels so soft, and it's like, it just feels ridiculously light on your foot. So this is a great everyday shoe. I haven't really tested it like hiking or running in it, but I know a lot of people like the lower version of this, the Lone Peak, for running, and so pretty sure this is built exactly the same, but I just bought it for casual because I like the way it looked. But I am considering getting a trail or a Lone Peak as a trail shoe in the future, possibly. Although I may explore another brand, Topo, but I will talk about them in a little bit. So yeah, casual everyday. It's pretty flexible. It's pretty wide. This is one of my widest. It's one of Altra's widest shoes that they make. It's like their widest. They have a few different fits that they have, and this is their widest one, which is why probably so many people like it. So yeah, that's my casual daily. It goes with a lot of things. You could dress it up, you can dress it down. Can't go too fancy with it, but yeah. My next boot, this is also kind of an everyday boot. I got it just recently for the colder months here. And I also got a like a sheepskin insole to put in here when it gets really cold. So I had this boot last year as well, the last couple of years, but I had the brown one, and it was a size bigger. So I had gone a size up on the previous pair, and they were a little big at first, but then when I broke them in, they kind of just started to feel normal, and plus I wore big socks with them. But I decided to go my true size on this pair, and I'm happy about that decision, because honestly, as soon as I put them on, it just felt like, I don't know, you could just feel the craftsmanship. Like, you can just tell, like, it's really stiff at first, but you can just tell that this boot is going to mold to my foot, and it's going to become like almost like a part of my foot, basically, like with the creases and then the sole, and then the, you know, the insoles, they mold to your feet because they got these they're like ortholite, but they're thermal. It's called Outlast. But yeah, this is a great boot. It's kind of expensive, but I mean, my other pair I wore for 2 years, and then I resold them for, you know, over $100. So because they were just in good shape still. So this is just a really high quality boot, and I think Vivobarefoot also offers like a Revive program. It's called Revivo or Revivo, I don't know. But basically, I haven't tried it, but you can send, there are certain models, like most of their models, you can send into them and pay a fee. I'm not sure if they do this in the US, honestly, but it's really cool. But you can send it in for a fee. They will completely revive the shoe. They'll like clean the upper, wax it or whatever. They'll replace the outsole, they'll replace the insoles, and it, you know, you get the shoe revived for, you know, a fraction of the cost of a new pair of shoes. So I thought that was really cool. And you can also just send them back to them, and they give you money, and then they will resell them. So I really like what they're going for there. Like, it seems like, you know, there's not a lot of companies that do that, but it seems like that's the way it used to be, right? Like, people would get their shoes resold and, like, you know, redone or whatever, and they wear the same shoes for decades. And I like that they're trying to get back to that with good materials, natural materials that will last a long time. So I really like this brand, and I think I like what they're doing. And yeah, it's just a really nice pair of boots. The thin sole in the winter can get a little cold, but that's why I got the sheepskin insoles. So we'll see. Hopefully that'll keep me warm enough. And yeah, just goes good with casual. Again, you can dress this one up, you can dress it down. You know, if you put your pants over it, it almost looks like a dress shoe. Not really, but looks like a more stylish boot, kind of. Alright, moving on. Xero. Alright, so these are the Xero Alpines. These are made for winter, specifically. And, you know, I ordered these because they were on sale. And I was pretty hyped about them, actually. But then, when I put them on my feet, there's just something about them, like, just looking down at them. I don't know, they just felt like a child's boot to me. And I just, yeah, so I'm sending these back or reselling them, I'm not sure yet. But, I mean, they got a lot of wiggle room. They got plenty of room. I'd compare them to the Vivos, maybe even a little. They feel more roomy. I think it's because the upper's kind of so spacious. Like, there's a lot of room for you to wiggle your toes up in these. Like, the toe box is really high. And, yeah. And they just came out with some new colors, too, I think, that look better. They don't have these, like, these trees on them. And so, you know, I think this could be a great winter boot for, like, people who like snowshoeing and, like, skiing and, you know, snowboarding and, like, doing active stuff out in the snow. Like, I think this could be really good for that stuff. But last year I was able to get by with the trackers as long as I wasn't out for more than a couple hours because, like I said, the sole started to get cold. And so I'm trying to fix that this year with the sheepskin. And so these haven't been tested, so I don't know exactly how cold or warm they will be in the snow. But I assume because of the way they're built and, you know, just by design, I think they should be warmer than these, but, you know, I'm not sure. But, yeah, Xero, they're consistent with their sizing and their fits. And so, yeah, this is just a winter option if you want a barefoot boot. Moving on to the Xero Denver. This is one I've done a couple reviews on already. But, you know, I still wear them, so just throw them in here. I've had these for like 4 years. They just came out of the washer. They're kind of wet. But they look, I mean, after 4 years, they look pretty good. I mean, I spilled some bleach on them, so they got this spot. Other than that, they'd probably look pretty new, except this, whatever that is, just got on there. But I actually like these so much, I just got another pair. They're on my feet right now. And they removed this strap, or I think what they did is move the inside of the upper, like they did with a lot of their other shoes. I think. I could be wrong, but it kind of just cleans the look up a little bit, removes that strap on the outside, makes it just a little more subtle. But yeah. So yeah, this is more like a fall boot, and then maybe winter if you're like just doing some errands and you're not going to be trekking through the snow or anything. It's almost like it's like a slipper, because it's you know, it's just this cloth material, and on the inside it's all like, this feels like flannel. The new pair feels more like fleece. I don't know if they changed it or if it's just because this one's older and more worn. This one feels more like a flannel, like a wool kinda, and the new one feels more just like fleece. But the design pattern looks exactly the same, so could just be that these are more worn, and that's why. But yeah, these are solid, wide enough, super flexible, barefoot boots. These don't even have the insoles in them right now. You can see they're super flexible. So yeah, these are good. These are, like, I probably worn these more than any other shoe on this table, just because I just find myself going for them because they're so like cozy and just low key and just like, it's so versatile. Like, you can wear these to the gym. You could wear these if you like running. Like, I run in these. I run more now in just like cushion stuff like up here, but you could run in these for sure. Yeah, so these are, I always recommend these. I like them a lot. I get a lot of use out of them. And they're pretty durable. Like, it's like a canvas upper, so they can kind of like, they can take a lot of abrasion. Maybe not like skateboarding level abrasion, but you can see I have skateboarded in these a little bit, like not a lot, and they are coming apart right here. I don't really skateboard a lot, so it's more like just messing around. So I think that's all I have for the boots. Next, let's move on to running shoes, I guess. So I have a few different models here. Basically, the two brands I've been running in lately are Altra and Topo. So they're very similar in their DNA, in that Altra, yeah, I'll just give you an example here. So Topo and Altra. So they're very similar in that they both have like this wider toe box. The Topo is more narrow, I think, in the heel and the midfoot, as you can see. But it's so strategic in the way that they've done it. Like, and you know, I think most people, the heel of their foot is more narrow than the toes, like naturally. But the way that they've designed theirs is just so strategic. Like, it looks like a normal shoe, but it fits like a barefoot shoe. Like, it's super wide, it's pretty flexible, and this one is zero drop as well. All Ultras are zero drop, and they have the wide toe box. Topo has a few models. They have this is one of their zero drop options. This is the Magnafly 3, and they have a few 3mm drop options and 5mm drop options as well, and I have a couple of those here. So yeah, these are basically the brands I've been running in. I've really enjoyed Topo. They just feel like more fast while also still giving me like a natural feel. Altra feels almost more like, it feels more barefoot, I would say, I think. Like more roomy, but it just doesn't feel as like fast. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel as performance driven as Topo is. Altra makes really comfy shoes, and they're really squishy. So compared to Topo, they got a more stiffer midsole. They have a different proprietary foam that they use. But I really enjoy it. Like, it's kind of stiff at first, but once you break it in, it kind of gives you this, like, well, they call it zip foam, and I swear it gives you like a little, it's got like a little zip to it. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't know, it just feels like it's got more like energy return than the Ultras. Like the Ultras feel like they absorb a lot of the energy with their cushion. But yeah, so let's just talk about individual shoes. So let's just start here. Okay, so this is the Topo Phantom 2. This is their 5mm drop max cushion road shoe. And this is great for like people who want to put a lot of miles and maybe they like the natural foot shape, but the zero drop maybe puts a little too much pressure on their Achilles or their calves, or maybe they're transitioning down. Or maybe you just have wide feet and you want an alternative to, you know, Brooks and Nike and all them. Because it's, you know, it's more like a standard running shoe with a little bit of a slope, right? 5mm, but it's a little more subtle than most of the other brands, which can get, you know, 8 to 12mm difference between the toe and the heel. So it's a little more natural, but more kind of on par with like traditional or like modern running shoes, I guess. But it's also extremely wide. So, you know, it's comparable in fit to the Ultras and the Barefoot shoes, really. So I've done a lot of miles in these. Like, I got to be close to 200, maybe more miles in this pair alone. And, you know, after about 100 miles, like 100 to 150 miles was really the sweet spot where, like, I was getting excited to put these shoes on because they, like, had molded to my feet. And they softened up just enough. Like, I don't know, they were just so comfy. And they still are, honestly, even at 200 miles. Like, I could probably take this another 100 at least and be happy with it. But one thing I've noticed with running shoes, like with these and these Ultras right here, I've noticed, at least for me, like after about 150 miles or so in a shoe, it seems like it shrinks a little bit. Like, I don't know if it's because my sweat soaks into the midsole or something, but like it develops a little more of my toe curve, and then it almost feels like the shoe has shrunk. So the first 175 miles, I didn't run with the insole. I mean, I did run with the insole in it. But the last few times I've taken it out, I've removed the insole just because I felt like it had shrunk. And that could be because, you know, I've been wearing exclusively wide shoes and my feet are actually expanding. Or it could be that the shoe shrunk a little bit somehow, like because of the sweat and like all the running. Maybe, I don't know. But I have had to remove the insole, and, you know, I just got a new pair of Topos and they fit good with the insole. So I think after, you know, 100, 200 miles, I think the shoe can shrink a little bit. But I really like the shoe. It's really cushioned, and you know, I've done a lot of long runs in these 20 plus miles, and my feet usually feel pretty good. I mean, as good as they can feel after a 20-mile run, I guess. So yeah, great max cushion shoe in between minimalist and, you know, maximalist. All right, moving on. Let's go the Topo Ultrafly. So this is the Topo Ultrafly 3. They now have Ultrafly 4 out. This shoe, I had another pair of blue and yellow one, so I had two pairs of these. And I put, you know, 150 miles on the blue and yellow pair, and then these maybe 100. And I kind of wore these a lot last year. I felt like I needed a little more support last year, and this shoe, it's 5mm drop. It's a little lower on cushion, I think, than the Phantom, just barely. But then it also has this support like tab here to kind of like lock your heel in the right position, and then it's also got a harder piece of foam here to you know, counteract pronation. So it's like it's a subtle support, like, you know, it's kind of like only there when you need it kind of thing. Like if you start to pronate, you know, it's only there when you need it. But if you're not pronating, you don't really notice it. And this shoe was weird for me at first because I had been running in Xero drop, so I was kind of experimenting going up a little bit in the drop for a little more support. And so I kind of felt like I could feel the difference between the toe and the heel, but it almost felt like a drop, like a flat drop, rather than a gradual at first. But then I kind of got used to it, and that feeling went away, I guess. I don't know what it was. It was the insole, maybe, or maybe it's just a little narrow in the midfoot. But maybe my foot shifted over a little bit or something. But yeah, anyway, so it's a little more support. This is their support model, 5mm drop. So again, more like a classic shoe, but it's wide. Got the room for the toe box. Yeah, this is just a solid shoe. Topo, I feel like they've been really consistent. Like most of their shoes that I like anyway have this similar, just a mesh upper, and then they have the zip foam, which, like I said, feels best, you know, between 100 to 150 miles, which is great, right? Like 100 miles in, and the shoe feels better than it ever did. So yeah, that's the Topo Ultrafly, Ultrafly 3. Definitely recommend this shoe. Pretty much all the Topo shoes I could recommend. So, basic shoe, does what it needs, you know, functions well, and it looks basic, like a basic training shoe. So, I like it. Moving on to the Topo Magnafly 3. So this is last year's model of the Topo Magnafly. I did try the Magnafly 4 first, and I took it out on one run, and I just felt like my toes were cramped. Like all my other Topo shoes, I got 11.5, and I loved them. But the Magnafly 4, for some reason, it just felt more narrow than all the others. And I took it out for like 5 miles just to give it a chance. And then by the end of the run, I was, you know, even more decided that, you know, this is too narrow. So I sent them back, ordered the older version. I found one on Amazon, and it fits like all my other Topos. So I don't know if it's the colorway I got in the Magnafly 4, or maybe like somehow they maybe tightened the upper, or maybe they narrowed the actual base of it, which I think is actually what it was. Like this part was a little more narrow. But the Magnafly 3 I really like. I think it's got their zip foam, or it looks like similar foam. I don't know if it is, but it's got the same feel. Like it's kind of stiff at first, but like not too stiff. But this is their Xero drop option for the road with like medium cushioning. So this could be compared to probably the Altra Escalante. I think it's probably a little less stack height than the Escalante, but in my experience, I actually did order the Escalante as well, and again, those were too narrow. So this is like, you know, this is my Escalante. So this is the Topo Magnafly 3. It's wider than the Escalante in the toe box, and I really enjoy this shoe. This is basically my new daily trainer for roads, paved roads. Yeah, there's not much else to say. Basic Xero drop, good cushion, wide toe box. Perfect. Alright, moving on to the Altra Torin. So, the Altra Torin 5, again, this is last year's model, Altra. The Torin is the... So currently, they don't offer any road shoes with the width of the Lone Peak. So like the Lone Peak is their widest shoe, like I said. And they don't offer any road shoes in that wide shape. They have, I think they call it a standard fit, maybe. And that's the Torin and maybe a couple others. That's the Torin and maybe a couple others. But the Torin, they also offer in a wide option for one colorway. So I got the Torin in the wide, in my size, in the one colorway that they had. So this is the widest road shoe that you can get by Altra. And I really like it. I just wish they had more, you know, options for the road that are this wide. Although it could be reduced, I think, in the heel. Like, but I don't know, I like it. I never had any issues with like slipping or anything. And yeah, so this, they got the Ego Max cushion, which is really, really soft. I wouldn't say that this is like max cushion. It's like mid to max. Like, it's pretty high cushioning, but I think there's higher options. But yeah, this is basically the only Altra road shoe that I can run in at the moment. I know the Torin 6 offers a wide option as well, and I heard they're coming out with a wide option road shoe comparable to the Olympus, like super high stack height, so max cushion and then max width as well. So that could be interesting, although, you know, I don't think I need any more cushioning than this, to be honest. So yeah, this is a good wide zero drop road shoe if you have really wide feet like me, or your feet have been expanding because of, you know, barefoot shoes and toe spacers. This is the widest option that Altra offers for the road, and I'm pretty happy with it. The only complaint I had was this tongue. If you've watched any other reviews, people say that the tongue cuts into them, and you know, the first day I put it on, I noticed it immediately. So I literally just cut the tongue down and on both shoes, and that seems to work for me. So it's kind of an eyesore a little bit, but you know, I bought them for the function, not the look. Just yeah, I had to cut that off a little bit, and I think they fixed that on the new one, or they tried to. So yeah, that is the Altra Torin 5. Let's move on here to the Topo Mountain Racer 2. So this shoe, man, this shoe makes me excited. Like when I put this shoe on, like I get these endorphins that just like rush my brain, because, you know, I've put 200 miles on these in the trails. And, you know, trail runs are always fun. You know, if you like hiking or, you know, trail running, it can be a lot harder than running on the road, but it is, you know, it's so much fun. It's just like exploring. And so when I put these shoes on, they just sends endorphins through my body. Like, it's like, oh my God, let's go. Like, yeah. And so this is Topo, 5mm drop, trail shoe. It's got Vibram Mega Grip. As you can see, it's pretty worn down on mine. I've done 200 miles in these. I did a 50K in these, all trails, and that was pretty epic. It took me like over 7 hours, and it was super muddy, but it was fun, right? Just to, you know, travel that distance on your own 2 legs is just kind of mind-blowing. And you learn a lot about yourself in the process, and, you know, your ability to withstand enduring events and pain as well. So like all Topo's other shoes, it's got a really wide toe box, just wide enough for me, and snug in the heel, and it's got the mega grip, so it's like really good on the trails. It does not have a rock plate, and it has this exposed foam piece right here, so that's the only issue I had, was like sometimes a rock would hit right on that foam, and it's like, you know, they could have like a piece of plastic there maybe, or just rubber to cover it. I think that would be an improvement. I think they're going for the flexibility, but it's just such an exposed spot, like right there, and that's the only complaint I have. I know they have a version with a rock plate, I think, but yeah, other than that, this shoe is, I really enjoy this shoe. You know, 5mm drop for the trails is pretty good. They also have 3mm drop options, but this is breathes really well. It's got like this, like almost like a Dura mesh with some like reinforcements in there for a little more rigidity, I guess. And it's also got this heel clip as well to keep your heel in place. And it's kind of like the Ultrafly, where it has this firmer foam here to support in case of pronation. You can't see it because it's all black, but there is a stiffer piece of foam right there. So yeah, it's kind of like a support trail shoe, but again, it's only there when you need it. But I really enjoy this shoe. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying Topo's Xero Drop trail shoe that they just came out with. I think it's like comparable in stack height to this, but it's Xero Drop, so I think it's like the higher part, but all the way across. And you know, it's got the mega grip outsole, and yeah, Topo's, you know, fit. I love their fit, so I'm excited to try that Xero Drop. Probably not till next spring, but I am gonna try those out next year probably. But yeah, these were my trail shoes this year. I did a lot of trail running in these, and yeah, they are just awesome. I kind of wish they had more colors, but honestly, I kind of enjoyed this like orange color, like out in the trails. I don't know, just the contrast with the dirt. I don't know, there's something about it, like it gives you sensory feedback. It's kind of cool. But yeah, I felt like a freaking mountain goat in these shoes. Honestly, they're so awesome. I think Topo's doing really great in the ultra marathon space right now, because it's like, you know, it's got a little higher drop than the Ultras, but they're also wide, and so I think that's really kind of where a lot of people want to be, especially on the trails when you're going up and down, up and down. Maybe you want a little relief in that heel. But yeah, these are great shoes. They fit great. They breathe really well. They're not waterproof, but they do have a gusseted tongue to kind of like keep rocks out. Yeah, this shoe's just great. Cannot recommend this shoe enough. And then I have another Topo trail shoe here. This is an older model. This is called the Hydroventure. This is basically I used this in the winter last year, so in the snow, because it's waterproof. And it does really good at being waterproof because it's got this event waterproof, which they have in some of their other newer products, like their boot, I think. And that event waterproof is just really good at keeping the water out. And I don't think they make this shoe anymore, Hydroventure, but it's a 3mm drop, and it's not a Vibram sole, but it's pretty good sole, and it's also got a rock plate in it. So I think this could be comparable to like their maybe Terraventure or something like that, but it's also waterproof. And but the thing about this one is it's a little more narrow than the others. So again, I had to take the insole out of this just to run in it, which kind of just, you know, puts you a little closer to the ground. So this is like a lot of sensory feedback, you know, because you're pretty low to the ground. 3mm drop, and yeah, so I use this in the winter just to keep my feet dry, and yeah, so it works for that. I would consider maybe getting another shoe this winter, but honestly, I'll probably just like, you know, I really don't use these very often, only when it's really snowy or really cold. So like, you know, these just do their job, right? So I don't really need another winter shoe at this point. All right, moving on. Altra Pro Vision 5. So I've done a whole review on this shoe alone, and I'll basically just reiterate what I said. You know, it's zero drop. It feels kind of plush. It has this really really soft insole, and it's also got these like bumpies to give you a little sensory feedback. But kind of similar to the Topo Phantom. After about 150 miles in these, I felt like they shrank a little bit. So now I run in these without the insole, and it's got like a nice cloth base in there, so it's actually just as comfy without the insole, and it also still gives you a little sensory feedback. It's almost got like similar kind of bumpy pattern, almost kind of. But yeah, these also have a little bit of support. They have this guide rail here, and they also have these little arch tabs. That is pretty interesting. Like, it kind of just like hugs your arch if you need that little extra support. But yeah, again, you know, Ultras, like I said, this is their widest one only because it comes in a wide option. So, you know, this one's a little more narrow, and I have to do it without the insole. But yeah, this is a good shoe too. Alright, moving on to Barefoot shoes. I already mentioned the Vivobarefoot. They have a bunch of stuff that's really nice, kind of expensive, which is mainly the reason I haven't bought more of their stuff. But they have a lot of Barefoot stuff. Xero Shoes has a lot of affordable options. This is like their OG, the Prio. Kind of looks like a skate shoe. But I mean, it probably could be used as a skate shoe, although I'm not sure how well this stuff would hold up. But yeah, this is just like a casual shoe, gym shoe. You could probably do barefoot running in these as well. You know, they have this unique lacing system that kind of tightens your foot. So these could be great, like running shoe if you like running and barefoot shoes. And Xero has this like super ridiculous warranty on all their soles. It's like a couple thousand, or like 5,000 miles or something. And I have an affiliate link if you want any of the Xero shoes in this video down below. So yeah, this is their Prio. Casual shoe, gym shoe. It's very versatile. It's very subtle. Doesn't look so much like a barefoot shoe. It looks more like a skate shoe. Yeah, this is just like a basic athletic shoe, gym shoe. All black, basic as you can get. You know, if you don't want people like noticing you're wearing barefoot shoes, this is super subtle. And a classic. Like, you can't go wrong with these. Moving on to the Xero 360 Court. These are more designed for like court sports, I guess. So I think what they had in mind for these was like tennis, racquetball, maybe even basketball. I mainly bought these as like a daily trainer, but I also bought them because, you know, I actually like playing tennis. And since switching to barefoot shoes, sometimes I still have to wear like other shoes to play tennis in because I don't want to like shred my barefoot shoes to pieces. So I'm really excited to try these actually on the tennis court and see how they do. They seem pretty good. Like, they got this extra rubber up on the side here for like drag and stuff. And this extra like stuff around the upper to protect it a little bit, I guess. But I also kind of want to try these in basketball. Not sure how well that'll go because, you know, jumping up and down, it's nice to have a little more cushion. But I really do want to try these in basketball, honestly. Currently I play in a pair of Converse Altra Pro BB. They're like, I think they're pretty flat, and like they're like the closest shoe to the ground, like basketball shoe that I could find. And they're wide enough for my feet as well. So I like playing in those, but I would like a little more toe room in those. But I really want to try these just to see how it goes. Like, I know I'll be a lot lighter on my feet. I'll be a lot more conscious when I'm jumping and landing and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see how that would translate into my game, if I have to be more conscious of my footwork. But yeah, so these are basically going to be daily trainer. Like, I ordered these and the Prio at the same time, and these fit all the needs that I would need these for. So I'm probably going to send the Prio back, because basically, why do I have two shoes when this one can fulfill the needs of both, right? So I'll probably just use this as like my gym trainer, as well as those other court sports. And yeah, so I'm excited to try these out. I think this is one of their newer shoes, and they got a new sole pattern. It's more court friendly, like something you'd see on a basketball shoe or a tennis shoe. And they do feel a little more narrow, honestly, but I think that's a good thing, because if you're going to be making cuts and stuff, you don't want it to be too wide. You want it to be just right, maybe a little snug, so that way you're not sliding around, right? So I think they did a really good job with this shoe, and the design, and the fit, and yeah. And I got these on sale too. Like, they're having a huge sale right now. Probably won't be on anymore by the time I upload this video, but got like all these Xero shoes on sale recently. Basically just all the ones I've been wanting to try. And then, I'm sending back a couple that I don't want. And then I got another pair of the Xero Denvers, just because I had liked that shoe so much already. Alright, now to the most minimalist shoes of all. These are the Vibram Fivefingers. This is the older Trek Sport. I think they still have these in maybe a different kind of upper or something. Or they come back out every once in a while when they're in stock or something. And then this is the original like KSO. So this is like the second shoe they made. I think they had the classic and then they had these. And so this is basically just, super minimal sole, very, very thin, like maybe like 2 or 3 millimeters or something, maybe 4, I don't know. But yeah, basically this is barefoot. This is the closest thing to barefoot without actually taking shoes off. And I know Vibram has actually even thinner models than this. This is just like the OG, the classic, and it's one of the cheaper ones. And as you can see, I removed the strap just because I didn't feel like the strap was really adding anything for me. And I kind of like the look of it better without the strap. So I cut the strap off completely. And then I colored in the Vibram there too, because it was just this yellow. I wanted the shoe just to be all black, right? So I colored that part in with a Sharpie. And I even did this part with a Sharpie too, but I washed it and it kind of faded off. But I basically just wanted it to be subtle, low-key as possible, just all black. Like a sock, basically. And so yeah. This, barefoot running. I've had other Vibrams as well, and I've done reviews on other Vibram shoes. They just came out with the V-Run Classic, which is kind of like the Bikila, like with the laces. I think they called it LS, Bikila LS, maybe. The V-Run Retro. That was my favorite one to actually run in, were the Bikila ones with the laces, because they had a little more padding right in the right spots for running. And so, if you want a pair of Vibrams for running, I would recommend the V-Run Retro, because that's just the ones that I had the best experience in. The V-Runs felt too long to me in the toes, but the older Bikila laces look exactly like the new V-Run Retro. So that's probably what I would get. And then they also have a lot of other, you know, hiking shoes and stuff as well. But, you know, I just, people look at you funny when you wear these sometimes. I live in a place where maybe a lot of people wear these, but, you know, you still get people are still gonna look, right? When you're wearing shoes that have toes. And so I usually just wear these other shoes, and then, you know, sometimes I'll even do the toe spacers, or I usually wear toe socks, actually. So it's kind of like, you know, I still have the freedom, but then it's just, you know, hidden inside the shoe. You don't have to see each of my toes wiggle, right? So this is basically, if you want to be barefoot with the smallest amount of protection, then you'll really like the Vibrams, if you don't mind the way they look, right? But yeah, they make great shoes. They have great rubber compounds with great grip, and yeah, like everybody uses Vibram, right, on their shoes and their soles. So yeah, that's pretty much all the Barefoot, Minimalist, Xero drop, wide toe box, running, training, trail shoes, casual shoes that I have. And then I have a pair of Vivobarefoot Geocourts on the way. It'll be more for just like casual use. I feel like that's like the only thing I'm missing is like a casual leather sneaker. So I have one of those on the way, and it's like a new color. It's like all brown that doesn't have the logo on it or anything. And I think they look just like really good. Like they go with anything. So I got a pair of those on the way. Yeah, if I missed anything, just ask a question in the comments. They all fit true to size. I would say your Vivobarefoot, they only run in full sizes, so I usually wear 11.5. Vivobarefoot is, I fit in 11s for them, which is a EU 44 or a US 11. That's what these are. That's the new pair I ordered, and you know, I've ordered a few other shoes in the past, like their training shoes, but I ordered them in a 45 and they were too big, and I just never got the 44. So yeah, I'd say, you know, Vivo, half size down if you're in the middle. And then Vibram is weird. My Vibram size is the same as my Vivobarefoot size. So 44 in Vivo, 44 in Vibram. Because I know their size charts can be confusing. So, you know, I wear 11.5 normally. All these Topos and Ultras and Xeros are all 11.5. And then Vibrams and Vivos are 44. So, which is an 11. But Vibram does this confusing thing. It says 10.5 to 11 is a 44. So, you know, just take that for what it is. 44 in Vibram and Vivos, 11.5 in the rest. Yeah. So yeah, any more questions, just feel free to ask in the comments, and I will do my best to answer. Peace.